Astro News. Followed down by number 7, Tribal Dance, the son of Tiger Dance. The horse who's going to make them run for it, number 8, Sean Cormack and Justin Snave. Followed down by number 9, Show Gunner. Number 12 is No Worries. First runner for Brian Bernard in the Vodacom Durban July. Brandon Larena, Gavin Van Zyl. And number 10, E-Jet, the rider needs to get remounted. Number 10, E-Jet, just a little bit above himself. Passing by Cape Town Noir, number 11, looking spectacular in his coat. Number 13, Wiley Hall. He's got plenty of supporters. Wiley Hall, Wyoming, MJ Windall. Do you remember Jet Explorer wants to get on with the business? Anthony Delpesh. Number 16, Punta Arenas. Elder de Meyer for Stan Ellie. E-Jet goes past. Number 10 and Glenn Schofield. 17 is Lovestruck, Greg Sheen. Number 19 is Gothic, Com Naidu, Glenn Hatt. And if you like the wild one, he's number 20, Jeff Friedman, Raymond Danielson, wild one on his way to the post. That's the runners for the Vodacom Durban July. And now the lead horse will have the moment. Cape Town Noir. Stand by, the Vodacom Durban July Grade 1. Gates crash back to the roar of the crowd. Giving them a chance to settle down. Lovestruck's right there. Wagner's in the early stages. Jet Explorer, the white cap. Run for it, the white body. Hill 54, Punta Arenas trying to move around runners. Wiley Hall's in behind these. Pomodoro, E-Jet's on the right-hand side. Seal, Astro News and Wiley Hall. Pomodora's bustling for an early position. White Line Fever, the yellow caps, only 4 lengths off them. Do you remember gets a rails run, Showgunners around them, Pomodoro, Tribal Dance deeper out. In behind these, Cape Town Noir, Heavy Metals about 10 lengths off the gallop. Further back in the running, No Worries and Gothic. They're racing about 13 lengths off them. Astro News just ahead of that group. Wild One the trailer. E-Jet now takes on Wagner. There's only a half a length in it, but Wagner goes on from E-Jet. Jet Explorer and Lovestruck. Lovestruck had to be taken up for a stride or so. Punta Arenas is looking to get closer. They're racing in very tight quarters. Seals on the outside past the 1,000. I can tell you, run for it's in the box seat. White body and black cap. Then comes Hill 54, Wiley Hall. Pomodoro defending his crown. He's got 6.5 to make up. White Line Fever, do you remember? Heavy Metal, Tribal Dance around them. Coming to the 600, there's a tremor of excitement as Wagner heads the field by 3 parts of a length. E-Jet looks to get going. Punta Arenas. Jet Explorer just bides his time at the rail. Run for it's behind him. Hill 54, Wiley Hall, Pomodoro. Do you remember White Line Fever, Seal, Cape Town Noir? E-Jet, Lovestruck looks to get going. Jet Explorer on the inside, run for it. Do you remember is running on? Punta Arenas, Showgunner, Pomodoro. Wiley Hall starts to unwind. Heavy Metal also gets into it late. Absolute Stampede. Jet Explorer the last 100. Heavy Metal gets going. Heavy Metal and run for it. Heavy Metal with his head in front. Heavy Metal won it. Run for it second. Do you remember? No Worries was flying up in the latter stages as they go down to the post. Well, just look at Heavy Metal exploding through the last furlong. Run for it's running a cracker. Do you remember on the inside? But it's the red cap of Samanga Kamalo. Sean Terry, they've done it again for Mr. Chris Van Niekerk. Heavy Metal wins that long neck decision. Run for it, an absolute blinding run in second. They started to catch the eye inside the 200. Do You Remember is looking for a big run. No Worries is up the inside. Jet Explorer and White Line Fever. Then Cape Town Noir. But the Son of Silvano, bred by the Bosworth Farm stud, Heavy Metal has come through and he struts his stuff. 4 off the left-hand side. Heavy Metal starts to come forward, the red cap. Up the inside, Run For It. Do You Remember staying on? Jet Explorer. Also, No Worries is getting into it, but it comes down to Heavy Metal and Run For It the last 100, but Heavy Metal gets there. And it's Heavy Metal. There's the big salute from the rider. Run For It's up second. Do You Remember to the inside? And No Worries looking to get into the shake-up late on for the quartets there. That's the running of the 3.5 million rand grade 1 Vodacom Durban July. Flashing to the line, Heavy Metal number 2, Samanga Kamalo, Sean Terry, and Mr. Chris Van Niekerk. He's done it again. Well done to all concerned here. Heavy Metal, a Son of Silvano, as they go down to the post. There you can see all riders glancing out, and the rider punching the air, Samanga Kamalo. He's done it. He's won the 3.5 million rand grade 1, the season of a lifetime for Samanga Kamalo. Put your hands together for Heavy Metal, a Son of Silvano. Samanga Kamalo, Sean Terry, Chris Van Niekerk, bred by the Bosworth Storm stud. 6 career victory. Gets his winning sash, does Heavy Metal. Here's the victory canter, Heavy Metal. Big round of applause for Samanga Kamalo. Aboard Heavy Metal for Sean Terry, returning to the winners area. Congratulations to Mr. Chris Van Niekerk. They've done it again. Last year, Pomodoro, they follow up with Heavy Metal, number 2 on the program. Sean Terry, Samanga Kamalo. Bred by the Bosworth Farm stud, now a 6-time winner. And registers the 3.5 million rand grade 1 Vodacom Durban July.
Grade 1 winner of the afternoon, Samanga Kamalo. But what is more importantly, and what a lot of you may not remember, he's won the 3 richest races in South Africa, starting with the Sansui Summer Cup, then the President's Champions Challenge, and today, the Vodacom Durban July.
Yes, I couldn't do it without Mr. Van Niekerk. Mr. Terry, he kept me on this horse, and I've been, how can I say, I'm just happy to have such a great agent, like Justin Vermaak. He persevered with Mr. Terry to say this was we need to ride him in July, and I win on him. And this was he really quickened very well. I know him a time before, and I'm just very happy, very happy.
To think that this is your second grade 1 win success on the day, but let us start right at the beginning. When you jumped, where were you and how did everything just unfold for you?
Mr. Terry never put pressure on me. He said he doesn't want to give me too much instructions. I must just jump this horse. I know him from a palm of my hand, and I must just jump out. And even if I'm far back, the guys in front, they will come back, and he'll run on. And coming top of the straight, I was following, Run For It, and I saw he was coming, and I said, you know what? If I go past Run For It, it's over. There's nothing will come. And this was just dug down so deep for me, and I'm very happy. I'd like to thank Mr. Terry again, Mr. Van Niekerk, my mother, my wife here also. They're here to support me. Thank you very much.
It's going to be one big party tonight, I'm sure. Samanga, well done once again.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, sir.
Right, while we are here, Sean Terry will be joining me. Sean, 2 years in a row, I get to speak to you after the running of the Vodacom Durban July. You had 4 runners, and I think one of probably the lesser fancies had come through for you.
Yes, listen, He won the Group 1. He acquitted himself well in his prep under 62.5. You know, we gave him a chance, but obviously sad for Pomodoro. He got into a scrum. I haven't spoken to Pierre, but to Chris to win 2 years in a row, to Bosworth Farm, Neil and Lith, they deserve this. Silvano, to my team at home, this horse came from a Joburg stable. He only spent 24 hours here. Well done to Debbie, Andres, Stuart, Nicholas and the team. They've done a fantastic job here, and you know, they can take a lot of the accolades.
And Samanga Kamalo timed it to perfection.
Samanga Kamalo, different class. You know, he's a lot cooler today than I expected him to be, and he's got 2 Group 1s home for me. What more can the man do, including the July?
Now, before I let you go, and before I let you go off to celebrate, there's a small little matter happening at the top of the trainer's log. This literally puts you in front.
Yeah, listen, good position to be in, but at the end of the day, I'm not foolish enough to get one hand on the trophy. Mark de Kock's a master of his trade, and I wouldn't even think about that until the season's finished.
Back-to-back victories for trainer Sean Terry in the Vodacom Durban July. Well done once again. I'm sure it is one of those things that just means the world to you.
Just to the whole team, you know, I really have put them under pressure these last few months, and they've risen to the task. Big thank you to all of them, and this is what we aim for, and we've pulled it off.
Well done, Sean.
Thank you.
That's trainer Sean Terry.
Well, there are a couple of things that come out of this Vodacom Durban July, and the one that is glaringly obvious is Samanga Kamalo has had probably one of the best seasons any jockey's ever had in this country, winning 3 of the big 4 Group 1s.
Well, you guys were saying 2 weeks ago that the best thing that could happen would be to see a black jockey winning this race. And I must tell you, from my association with racing and everything all over the years and all sports since transformation and everything, it's been something we've been dreaming about, that a black jockey's going to do it, and he did it in such a magnificent way. And I think this is the biggest day in the history of racing for South Africa. I believe it because of that.
Yeah, I think wonderful, especially for Sean Terry. Hats off to him, back-to-back wins. What was evident from that race is that it shows how good virgin turf is. Horses who ran 1, 2, 3, 4 were all on the fence all the way around. They came up the inside, up the stretch. Anything moved towards the outside in the old ground never really fired. Whether they were good enough or not, I don't know. It's just something that James highlighted to me, and I agree with him 100%. But I'd hats off to a man who can get 4 in the race and win it again. Samanga Kamalo, and Samanga, I believe, means magic. So, miracle. Let me get it right. Miracle Kamalo. So well done to him, Miracle Kamalo. Nice to see his dad in the background in the photographs. He's a very talented rider. You've heard Martin talk about him and James talk about him. And well done to the breeders and everyone concerned. And Chris van Niekerk, well, he's a massive player in the industry, and him and Sean are showing them how to buy the big ones.
Well, you know, I just must say on the breeders, because Lith and Neil Orford have been around for very, very many years. They're a sort of lower stud. They don't produce the big numbers, the big horses or whatever, but they have been supporters of this industry all their lives, you know, through their parents, the Ruffles, and everything they deserve, they get. And this was the most deserved breeder winner I've ever seen in the July.
James, it capped a big day for Silvano. We mustn't forget that. Silvano has been winning Group 1s all around the country, done it again. It's been a massive year, 1st and 3rd in this race, and both of them came into the race as Group 1 winners. So well done to Silvano.
Yeah, I must just tell you on that, I got off the lines as well, that Silvano won the German Derby yesterday. So he won the biggest race in South Africa, and then ended up winning the Derby in Germany. So, you know, it's amazing how things happen for a wonderful country like South Africa. We ended up finding a man like Andreas Jacobs to come and buy main chance from Graham Beck, who set it up. You know, and Godfrey Gerd set it up before him. You know, it just, and we end up with this sort of history that really is hard to fathom, but it's worked out so wonderfully for us.
But don't you think it was wonderful? Did you notice with Heavy Metal how he took the win afterwards? His ears were pricked. He was enjoying it. They're wonderful horses, the Silvanos. And I must just tell you, I watched the 6th race in the parade ring, because we were going to be doing the big race with Andrew Bond, and I saw Sean Terry there. So I stood with him while that race was on, and I said, look, I've got to go on to Teletrack now and say, look, you know, which is the best horse that you've got here in the race? I'm sure it's Pomodoro. So you say, Martin, I'll tell you one thing. Pomodoro